Compared to a lot of other Xyz ranks, the pool of rank 1 monsters is a lot smaller and a lot weaker compared to the likes of ranks 3s, ranks 4s, or even the rank 8 pools. But even despite there being so few rank 1s in the game, the pool is still diverse and strong enough to have had a number of other cards featured in the competitive metagame throughout the years. So today we're going to be ranking some of the best rank 1 monsters in the game, what they do, and why they're so strong. Rolling into the number 10 spot is number 100 Numeron Dragon, an Xyz monster with 0 attack and defense, which has been an integral OTK piece for a number of different rank 8 strategies. Unlike most other Xyz monsters, Numeron Dragon isn't summoned by overlaying 2 or more monsters at the same level, and instead requires you to overlay 2 number Xyz monsters with the same name and rank in order to summon normally. Numeron Dragon actually has 3 effects, but only one of them is particularly relevant. Its third effect allows you to special summon it from your graveyard whenever your opponent declares an attack, but only while you have no cards in your hand or on the field. Its second effect triggers if it's destroyed by a card effect and allows you to dark hole the entire field. Then, both players have the opportunity to set one spell or trap card from their graveyard to the field. But the most relevant effect in Numeron Dragon is actually its first one, which on a soft once per turn lets you detach materials so you can gain attack equal to the combined ranks of every Xyz monster in the field times 1000. So if you control Numeron Dragon and your opponent controls a number 39 Utopia, Numeron Dragon would gain 5000 attack points. Despite being a rank 1 monster, Numeron Dragon has mainly seen competitive play in rank 8 strategies. You see, Numeron Dragon's summoning condition actually makes it fairly difficult to bring out. It's not an impossible thing to do, but it's a huge commitment in terms of resources. Most decks that use Numeron Dragon, however, get around its difficult summoning condition by using the effect of number 97 Draglubion, a rank 8 monster which allows you to choose 2 dragon-type number monsters with different names from among your extra deck and graveyard. Then you can special summon one of those chosen monsters and attach the other to it as a material. But you can't special summon monsters or declare an attack with any other monster than the special summon monster for the rest of the turn. Numeron and Draglubion alongside number 86 Hope Harbinger have formed a small staple engine that rank 8 strategies can instantly OTK your opponent, as any 2 level 8 monsters lets you summon out Draglubion. And Draglubion can summon out Numeron Dragon from your extra deck for free and attach Hope Harbinger to it as a material. From there, you can then use the effect of Numeron to gain attack, and because you control both Draglubion, a rank 8, and Numeron Dragon, a rank 1, its total attack will be 9000. More than enough to OTK an opponent on an open board, even with both of Draglubion's restrictions. Numeron Dragon is an excellent tool that, because of Draglubion, can be easily splashed into a number of different rank 8 strategies, including Grand Maju and Danger Dark World, since it gives them an excellent route to an easy OTK. Making an entrance at number 9 is Sylvan Princessprite, an Xyz monster that, like the archetype it belongs to, can excavate cards from the top of your deck. In order to make Princessprite, you need 2 level 1 monsters, and while it's on the field, it has 2 effects. The first effect allows you to detach material to excavate the top card of your deck, and send it to the graveyard if it's a monster, or add it to your hand if you excavate a spell or trap card. Meanwhile, the second effect is really strong for Sylvan specifically, and lets you send any other plant monster from your hand or field to the graveyard to reborn a Sylvan monster from your graveyard. But for as strong as this effect sounds, its potential use in Sylvan isn't the reason why Princessprite ever saw competitive play. Instead, it was because Princessprite's first effect could actually be used generically in almost any deck that made rank 1s. This made Princessprite really valuable in Spiral, a tier 0 strategy centered around flooding the board with a ton of materials and looping cards like Spiral Master Plan, Resort, and Quick Fix, which was really important for Princessprite's competitive success. You see, Quick Fix has 2 effects. The first lets you search for any Spiral Gear card in your deck whenever it's normal or special summoned, and the second, which allows you to discard a card to reborn your Quick Fix while it's in your graveyard, but you have to banish it when it leaves the field. Neither of these effects have a once per turn and allow you to gain a ton of free advantage off of a single Quick Fix. But because Quick Fix's effect banish it when it leaves the field, you can't use its graveyard effect multiple times with a single copy. This is why Spiral decks, both historically and currently in Master Duel, choose to play at least one generic rank 1, because when you use a monster as an Xyz material, it's technically not leaving the field. So instead of a reborn Quick Fix getting banished, you could put it under an Xyz monster's material, so that it's guaranteed to go to the graveyard so that you can use its reborn effect again later in the turn after you use the effect of Princessprite, or link it off as a material for something like Firewall Dragon. Usually, Spiral had one of 2 options for rank 1s they would play. Lyrilusc Recital Starling let them search DD Crow, but Princessprite also saw common play, since it was either an upstart goblin that gave you a really powerful spell card like Resort or Foolish Burial, or it would send a Spiral monster to the graveyard so you could use their graveyard effects. Overall, Princessprite is a decently strong card. It definitely doesn't have the best effect in the world, and during the time where it did see competitive play, other rank 1s like Recital Starling offered more to the Spiral strategy. But at the very least, Princessprite was, and still is, a strong option for level 1 decks to pivot into. Jump scaring into number 8 is Ghostrick Dullahan, a dark fiend monster that's actually incredibly valuable specifically because it's a Ghostrick Xyz monster. Dullahan is really generic and can be made with any 2 level 1 monsters and comes with multiple effects that aid its particular archetype. It gains 200 attack for every Ghostrick card you control, including itself, has a quick effect which allows it to have the attack of any monster in the field, and if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to add any Ghostrick card from your graveyard to your hand, making it excellent in grind games. But as applicable as the effects are in Ghostricks, none of them are actually the reason why Dullahan makes it into this list. What makes Dullahan so strong is that it's a Ghostrick monster. This means that you can overlay Ghostrick Angel of Mischief on top of Dullahan as if it were a Zodiac monster, and makes it so that any deck that can make Dullahan has an easy line to access number F0 Utopic Draco Future, a hard to outboss monster that's also a monster negate. You see, Angel of Mischief has 3 effects, but the important one is that you can search any Ghostrick spell or trap card by detaching material. This lets you search Ghostrick Shot, a reborn spell for Ghostrick monsters specifically. Then, if you detach Ghostrick Dullahan, you can revive Dullahan using Shot, so that you can then overlay yet another Angel of Mischief on top of Dullahan, since Angel of Mischief summon isn't once per turn. And then if you control 2 non-number monsters of the same rank, you can overlay for Utopic Future and then for Utopic Draco Future. So for the cost of only a single brick in your main deck, and a little bit of commitment in your extra deck, you have access to one of the strongest Xyz boss monsters currently legal. Now, Dullahan isn't anything too special, since the Ghostrick engine can be accessed by any deck that can go into rank 2s or 3s as well, but Dullahan specifically allows for level 1 strategies to have easy access to a free monster negate. Flying into number 7 is Lyrilusc Ensemblue Robin, Lyrilusc's recently released boss monster. Ensemblue can be made using 2 or more level 1 monsters, and for every material Ensemblue has, it gains 500 attack. So if you have 2 materials, Ensemblue's attack is only 1000. But if you can stack 5 materials into Ensemblue, it's a beefy 2500 attack stat. So the more material you have on Ensemblue, the better, especially because of its non-once per turn compulse effect, which allows you to detach material whenever your opponent special summons a monster to bounce back that monster to the hand. So a single Ensemblue with 5 materials is equivalent to 5 bounces during your opponent's turn. And if it's sent to the graveyard by opponent's card, whether by battle or card effect, you can target another Lyrilusc monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Ensemblue's interaction is really interesting, because while cards like Kashtira Fenrir act as really strong counters, Ensemblue can restrict the options of decks like Sprites, which have hard once per turns on their summons from the hand effects, or can instead be used to bounce back your opponent's extra deck monsters, to make your opponent waste a ton of resources, which makes Ensemblue a solid choice for generic rank 1 strategies. But where Ensemblue really shines is in Lyrilusc itself. Not only is it frighteningly easy to access rank 1s in Lyrilusc, but the main deck Lyrilusc monster also provides Ensemblue with bonus effects that turn it from a decently strong interruption to a powerhouse of a boss monster. When Sapphire Swallow is used as an Xyz material to summon a Wind Xyz monster, you get to attach a Lyrilusc monster to that card as an Xyz material for free. In the case of Ensemblue, the free material represents an extra 500 attack to make it more difficult to beat over. When Barrel Canary uses an Xyz material, that monster gains 200 attack, and furthermore, control that monster cannot be switched, essentially making Ensemblue immune to any mind control-like effects, including triple tactics talents. And last but certainly not least, Cobalt Sparrow stops your Ensemblue and other Lyrilusc from being targeted by any card effects, making your Ensemblue impervious to the likes of Infinite Impermanence, Ultimate Slayer, and tons of other strong board breakers that target. Ensemblue's main interruption already makes it a very good tool for rank 1 strategies, but combined with the bonus effects of the main deck Lyrilusc, it becomes an absurd interruption capable of winning a game on its own because of how difficult it is to deal with. It does have its counters, but Ensemblue has given the rank 1 pool and Lyrilusc themselves a really strong interruption to go for, especially since prior to the release of Ensemblue, the main way Lyrilusc are winning games was by OTKing with Ensemble Nightingale and Psychic Blade. Gatekeeping the number 6 spot are the Numeron gates, Ekam, Divi, Trini, and Katvari, which represents numbers 1 to 4 in the numbers archetype. Each of these monsters actually have the same effect. They can't be destroyed by battle, and if they end up battling an opponent's monster, you can detach material at the end of the damage step to double the attack of all Numeron monsters you control until the end of the turn. So, if you use the effective gate, its attack becomes doubled from 1000 to 2000. But in order to actually summon any of the gates, you need to commit 3 level 1 monsters to the field. This has made it so that Numeron Gate doesn't actually see any use in generic rank 1 strategies. Needing to commit 3 bodies to the board just to get access to a low attack monster that can't be destroyed by battle just isn't worth it. Especially since there are better options for cards with battle protection, even within the relatively small rank 1 pool. But despite their harsh summoning condition, each of the Numeron gates are an integral engine piece to a number of different strategies hoping to take advantage of Numeron Network. Numeron Network allows you to send a Numeron normal spell card, which meets its activation requirements, from your deck to the graveyard to have Network copy the effect of that sent spell card. In most, if not all cases, you would be sending Numeron Calling. This lets you cheat out all 4 of the Numeron gates for free if you control no monsters, but locks you into only being able to normal or special summon once for the rest of the turn. And having access to these 4 bodies opens up some interesting possibilities for a number of different strategies. Exodia, for example, can use Numeron gates alongside Memories of Hope to draw 4 cards from their deck for free, which is obviously really strong for Exodia. But that's not all, as because you can still special summon once, you can use the gates to go into a Yugioh to draw even more and increase the quality of your hand. And for a while, more dedicated Numeron strategies could even lock you out of the game entirely by overlaying into Utopic Zexal as your single special summon. But by far, the most common use of the gates has been as an OTK tool. You see, even though the Numeron gates only have 1000 attack each, you can crash each of your gates into an opponent's monster. This lets you trigger the effective Numeron gates at the end of the damage step, even if you don't have any materials, because Numeron Network allows you to use the effects of your gates without needing to detach. So after battling one monster, the 4 Numeron gates all become 2000 attack beaters. After battling an opponent's monster with a second gate, they all become 4000 attack beaters. If you battle an opponent's monster with a third gate, every one of your gates will reach an insane 8000 attack, which if your opponent has no monsters left, would let you OTK with the remaining gate, draining every one of your opponent's life points in a single attack. While the Numeron gates aren't likely to be used by rank 1 strategies anytime soon, their existence facilitates the use of network and calling as an incredibly strong going second engine that's capable of OTKing your opponent out of nowhere with just a single card. Alright, and this video is just a tad too long for one video, so we're splitting it into 2 parts. I hope you guys don't mind the more in-depth top 10s that sometimes take place over 2 videos, but, well, we'd rather not tell our scriptwriters to write less.